Good evening, good evening. How you doing? First episode here. I want to just thank you all for tuning in. Again, please hit your like, subscribe, but not let us know that you're enjoying what we're saying. I'm coming to you, I guess, being a father. Topic of these shows is going to be being a man, a father, and a leader. And I think it's important that we teach our young men and young women how to be leaders. One thing I do think the problem with our community today, nowadays, we don't seem to have people who's trying to guide people and give them ideas. A lot of folks are being successful, and having a poor job explaining what they're doing. I really want to thank Mr. Ball for he has three sons and a house that's basically what you're talking about. A house is united and not divided with a wife. Again, they showed three men who had success, as in being opportunity to go to college, play a professional sport, and be productive. Also want to thank Mr. Dion, Mr. Sanders. Right now as a mentor, his two children are now come to play for him at Jackson State, which is a blessing. We think that's very important, to see young men look up to their father. We think it's very important that to have that father influence in your life. It's nothing like that. You don't have it long when they're small. As they get older, for them to come back, to be a person that allows them to come back to you, I think it's great. So big shout out to both those guys, Mr. Ball, Mr. Sanders. Life you guys are playing. Again, we definitely appreciate that. Again, I also been a graduate at HBCU. Again, we definitely appreciate Mr. Sanders for that. Again, HBCU, sometimes we miss the best athletes. It's good to see a guy coming back and giving back to those guys. Because, again, we know it's not about the money because, Jackson State cannot pay him what he deserves. Again, what his worth is, put it that way. He has a bigger value than the money he's getting from Jackson State. We know that, so we truly appreciate what he's doing. But I want to, I guess, talk about what we go through. I try to do weekly topics on, in this case, the thing about a man, a father, and a leader for today's topic. Again, being a man, we think a man is a planner. Again, he make plans. He make decisions not off the cuff. They're educated decisions. They're planned out thoughts. In other words, they're not just done on the spur of the moment. We think you make decisions for your children, basically how you want them to live. In other words, you try to live that example and have the plan. Well, hey, I'm gonna show you this. In other words, I'm gonna do things 3 to 5 years. In other words, show you the plan before it happens. We don't just talk about credit scores. Talk about things that make you feel setting up your college fund or whatever. How you do things to make sure you understand this is what a man does. They don't just do things on the cuff. They don't just react. It's just not an instinct person. I think as in, talking about for us friends, I think it's important that you teach friends about certain things that they might not know, because sometimes that you tell your son or your daughter one thing in your house, but then you have friends who are very, I guess, thirsty for knowledge. As being a leader, you have to almost also guide them also, because again, you take some, again, I mentioned before, credit scores. You have people don't realize, with your credit score being a 700 or say 800, you pay less than a person who's going to be paying with a 500. It's going to be double. So it's very important that we understand that we try to teach our people how to get those scores low, how to buy the things, how to establish a credit line where you find out then that your monthly bill's not nearly as high. So it's important we think those are important things that makes you a better person, from that standpoint. But again, if you do things and just go buy off impulse and can't afford it, now you have those problems also. So we asking you guys, please, what does a man do? A man know how to plan. As a plan for certain people, these things they do. Okay, now as a father, I think it's important that you want to make sure as a father, as a husband, that you do things in a manner in which you teach your kids how to do it the right way. Even when you make mistakes, you make sure you let them know, hey, I did it wrong. By the same token, you live with your hero. Your hero should not be on television. That I think Charles Barkley said it the best. I'm not a hero. I'm not a role model, because again, those guys you only see in part of their lives. So as a father, as a husband, children, they will see you through your struggles. So it's important that you stay humble, I mean, stay consistent, stay prayed up, do the things you should do. Thirdly, as a leader, as a leader, I think it's important. If you're a leader, your kid will see you make those plans. Talk about proper preparation, prevent poor performances. And as a leader, this is what your kid will see you to understand when you're making these decisions. They will know, hey, you shouldn't be doing this because guess what? We plan, we prepare those things. Then we lead by example. We're not a person that tell them not to do certain things and we doing them also. It's hard for a kid to decipher what's wrong, what's right. The most important thing for kids are growth. The longer they improve, and then leave them an opportunity where they can bounce back through communication with you. Basically, they do things wrong, leave those lines of communication there where if something goes wrong, they're able to talk to you about it because if they're closing you out, you can never allow them to bounce back. So these are just a few points we wanted to make sure about what we think a man, a father, a leader should do within this first session. Again, as we watch people on television, again, they are great people to see on television, but their lifestyle sometimes not exemplify the way your child should live. The same as a lot of entertainers. You see guys who are rappers who, the cliche is fake it till you make it. Guys around have a lot of jewelry, and then some of the jewelry is not even real. But then they don't tell you about the struggles for the one who has it real, what it takes in order to get the real jewelry. So it's important that we understand the process for that. It don't just happen overnight. So same as business owners, Rock Nation, those guys who are famous for famous businesses. What's the process like? So often we see the end results and not realizing there's a lot of grind in between that. So